Picture a trucker hauling groceries north to Alaska, a routine journey until now. For decades, this long, icy drive has been a symbol of the quiet cooperation between neighbors, a lifeline threading through the wilderness. But today, that sense of normalcy is under threat. On January 5, 2026, that familiar highway through Canada has become a flashpoint, symbolizing a deepening rift between two close allies. The once open road now feels uncertain, as tensions simmer beneath the snow-covered landscape. Canada, under pressure from President Trump's tariff threats, has weaponized its geography, threatening steep tolls on American trucks crossing to Alaska. The border, once a formality, is now a barrier, one that could choke off vital connections. This isn't just about trade, it's about sovereignty and the future of a once-friendly border. The decisions made here will echo far beyond the customs booths and snowy checkpoints. The Alaska Highway, built in the WW as a symbol of cooperation, now marks a fracture. What was once a testament to unity in the face of adversity is now a dividing line, its legacy at risk. For Alaskans, this route is a lifeline for fresh food and vital supplies. Every shipment that crosses the border means stocked shelves and warm meals in remote communities, where alternatives are few and far between. What began as political posturing has escalated into a full-blown international standoff, with provinces proposing surcharges and boycotts, and the US responding in kind. The rhetoric grows sharper, and the stakes higher, with each passing day. The chessboard is set. The next moves will redefine trade, and the fate of America's last frontier. Every decision now carries weight, shaping the future for generations to come. The stage is set for a conflict with far-reaching consequences. As leaders on both sides weigh their options, the world watches, waiting to see what will become of this once peaceful border. To understand the blockade, rewind to early 2025. The world was still reeling from years of economic uncertainty, and tensions between the US and its neighbors were simmering just below the surface. President Trump, newly re-elected and eager to fulfill campaign promises, threatened sweeping tariffs on Canadian goods, aiming to protect US industries and appeal to his base. The announcement sent shockwaves through both countries' economies. Canada, deeply tied to the US economy, couldn't ignore the threat. With billions in trade at stake, Canadian leaders faced mounting pressure from businesses and workers alike. British Columbia's Premier David Eby struck back, hefty tolls on American trucks using the Alaska route. The move was bold, signaling that Canada wouldn't back down easily. Other provinces quickly joined. Ontario threatened electricity surcharges. Yukon limited US business contracts. The response was swift and coordinated, showing rare unity across Canada's political spectrum. This united Canadian front turned what began as a federal trade spat into a nationwide resistance. Protests erupted, and public opinion hardened. The Alaska route, while not the main supply line, is essential for time-sensitive goods. Everything from fresh produce to medical supplies depends on it. Disrupting it would hit Alaskan businesses and consumers hard, threatening shortages and price spikes in remote communities. The message was clear: if the US makes Canadian goods pricier, Canada will make it costlier and more complicated to supply Alaska. The Alaska Trucking Association warned of chaos, higher costs for groceries, construction, and daily life. Local officials scrambled to find solutions. Suddenly, a political fight thousands of miles away threatened the price of milk in Anchorage and the stability of daily life for ordinary Alaskans. The dispute was no longer abstract, it was personal, affecting families, businesses, and communities. The White House had to respond. The ball was now in President Trump's court. Advisors debated next steps as pressure mounted from all sides. The stakes had never been higher. The world watched, waiting to see who would blink first in this high-stakes standoff. President Trump's response was swift and bold. In October 2025, he signed an executive order reviving the Ambler Access Project, a 211-mile industrial road through Alaskan wilderness, previously blocked over environmental concerns. Trump framed it as urgent national interest. Alaska's resources would no longer be hostage to foreign policy. The administration's new mantra, "Mine, baby, mine." In a twist, the US invested $35.6 million for a stake in Trilogy Metals, a Canadian co-owned company central to the project. The move was both retaliation and a strategic play for critical minerals like copper and zinc. Supporters hailed it as a masterstroke for economic security and jobs. Opponents saw it as reckless, sacrificing wilderness and indigenous rights for profit. The border standoff now had a new front. Deep in the Alaskan tundra, the battle lines were drawn. The Ambler Access Project is more than a road, it's a 201-mile industrial corridor to one of the world's richest mineral deposits. Supporters see it as a key to $7.5 billion in copper, zinc and more, promising jobs and U.S. mineral independence. The route, however, cuts through gates of the Arctic National Park, home to grizzlies, wolves, and the western Arctic caribou herd. Up to 168 ore trucks a day would transform this silent wilderness into an industrial artery. Proponents argue it's vital for national security and economic revival, especially in struggling Alaskan communities. Opponents warn of environmental catastrophe, thousands of streams crossed, permafrost disturbed, caribou migration disrupted. For indigenous cultures, the road threatens a way of life tied to the land for millennia. The Ambler Road is a flashpoint in the age-old battle progress versus preservation. The US-Canada dispute isn't just politics, it's hitting wallets. For many families, the impact is immediate and deeply felt, as the cost of everyday essentials climbs higher. What might seem like a distant diplomatic disagreement quickly becomes a personal struggle at the checkout counter. In Alaska, threatened tolls on the land route sent shockwaves through the economy. Suddenly, shelves that were once full are now sparse, and local businesses face tough choices about whether they can stay open. While most cargo arrives by sea, the Canadian highway is crucial for fresh produce and urgent supplies. This overland route is a lifeline, especially for perishable goods that can't wait for a slow boat. Any disruption means higher prices for groceries and construction, squeezing families and small businesses already burdened by Alaska's high cost of living. Even a small increase in shipping costs can push essentials out of reach for many. In Canada, businesses along the Alaska Highway, motels, diners, service stations, face uncertainty as truck traffic slows. Fewer travelers mean fewer customers, and the ripple effects are felt in every small town along the route. Retaliatory measures, like boycotts of U.S. goods, ripple back, threatening jobs and revenue on both sides. Workers worry about layoffs, and shelves in Canadian stores sit empty where American products once were. The dispute exposes the fragility of global supply chains, how quickly politics can disrupt the flow of everyday goods. A single policy change can bring commerce to a standstill, leaving goods stranded and businesses scrambling. The price of milk in Anchorage or a lost contract in Yukon becomes collateral damage in a high-stakes standoff. These aren't just numbers, they're the realities that shape people's lives and livelihoods. International relations aren't abstract, they shape daily life. Every negotiation, every tariff, every border delay is felt in homes and businesses across the region. The lesson: a border dispute can upend household budgets and local economies overnight. What happens between nations can change the course of a family's month or a business's future in an instant. The stakes are personal, not just political. For every policy decision, there's a family, a worker, or a business owner living with the consequences. The Ambler Road's approval sparked fierce opposition from indigenous communities and environmentalists. The western Arctic caribou herd's migration, vital to the Koyukon Athabaskan and Inupiat peoples, would be cut by the road, threatening food security and culture. Past projects like the Red Dog Mine Road delayed migrations and polluted lichen, a key caribou food. 42 tribal villages condemned the project, calling it a threat to their way of life. Activists argue no economic benefit can replace the loss of the caribou or the land's health. The road would cross thousands of streams, risking fish habitats and permafrost. For many, the Ambler Road is a reckless gamble with irreplaceable heritage. The Ambler Road debate is a clash of values, economic promise versus environmental and cultural cost. Supporters tout jobs, growth, and mineral security, vital for remote Alaskan communities facing sky-high prices. Some indigenous voices see hope in new opportunities, while others warn of lost traditions and environmental harm. Critics argue the benefits are overstated, with profits flowing to corporations while locals bear the risks. They warn of a boom and bust cycle, leaving scars long after the mines close. The question: can Alaska's riches be tapped without destroying what makes the land unique? The answer will shape the region's future for generations. The stakes are nothing less than the survival of a culture and a wilderness. The standoff remains tense and unresolved. Canada may impose tolls, triggering a deeper trade war and hurting both economies. Or, pressure from businesses and communities could force a diplomatic compromise. Tariffs dropped, atolls abandoned. But even if the border cools, the Ambler Road fight is just beginning. Legal battles loom, with environmental and tribal groups vowing to stop construction. Building a 211-mile road through Arctic wilderness is a monumental challenge, far from certain. The U.S. investment in a Canadian co-owned company further entangles the two nations' fates. This story is about more than trade. It's about balancing economic growth, environmental protection, and indigenous rights. The choices made now will shape the Arctic's future, the U.S.-Canada relationship, and the world's approach to resource development. The Great Northern Standoff is a test of priorities, values, and vision. The outcome will echo far beyond the border.